Good day, noble students of JC Best Schools International. Welcome to week 3, third term 2019-2020 academic session. I remain your noble teacher, Mr. Uguche Ezekiel. We'll be looking at a very important topic, and it is titled Common Social Problems. More precisely, we'll be discussing HIV/AIDS. The question is, we have certain objectives. They include, we state the meaning of HIV/AIDS, explain the causes of HIV/AIDS, and identify effects of HIV/AIDS. That's by the end of today's class. Students should be able to do these 3 specific objectives. Let's move on. What is HIV/AIDS? HIV means human immunodeficiency virus. Human immunodeficiency virus is for the acronym HIV. It causes a disease called AIDS, and AIDS means acquired immune deficiency syndrome. HIV/AIDS is actually a serious problem, especially as it has no cure yet. What are the causes of HIV/AIDS? Before we look at the causes, let us go back and review HIV/AIDS. HIV is actually a virus, and AIDS is a disease. Human immunodeficiency virus, acquired immune deficiency syndrome. HIV usually leads to AIDS. So what are the causes of HIV/AIDS? Number 1, sexual intercourse. An infected person could spread the virus to his or her sexual partner or partners during intercourse. Having multiple sex partners spread the disease rapidly. So that is why it is advisable to avoid premarital sex, which means sex before marriage, or what we call sex outside marriage. That is, for married people, it is not good to engage in sex in the first place. And even those engaged in sex, if you must do that, then you use protective stuff such as condom. That's what health experts usually advise. But the best means of avoiding HIV/AIDS is abstinence. Number 2, blood transfusion. HIV/AIDS could be spread through blood transfusion if the blood used is infected with the virus. So before blood transfusion, it is usually advised that tests be carried out to ascertain whether the virus, whether the blood to be transfused is infected by the virus or not. Number 3, sharing of sharp objects such as needles and razor blade with an infected person could also lead to infection of HIV/AIDS. Number 4, mother to child transmission. A pregnant mother who is HIV positive, that means a pregnant mother that is infected by HIV, can transmit the virus to the child during pregnancy, at childbirth, or from breastfeeding. So but thank God for science, where there are certain things, medical procedures that could be followed that will prevent an unborn child from getting AIDS if the mother is infected. There are many causes of HIV/AIDS. We have specific assignments for this class, and the assignment says state 5 solutions to the problems of HIV/AIDS. State 5 solutions to the problems of HIV/AIDS. Putting this assignment in the middle of this class is deliberate. We want to be sure that students follow this video to the letter from beginning to the end. If you ask me you can't find the assignment, it means you have actually not followed this class systematically. But you cannot talk about solutions to the problems of HIV/AIDS without looking at the effects of HIV/AIDS. What are the effects? Number 1, death. HIV/AIDS leads to death. Why? Because the cure is unknown. But there are certain drugs you will take that will help prevent you from untimely death. But in the first place, if not treated, or if you don't take this drug to boost your immunity, the disease can actually lead to death if nothing is done. But if you take those drugs, the chances for you to live as long as possible is very, very high, scientifically high. So HIV/AIDS, number 1, leads to death, untimely death. Number 2, stigmatization. The victim of HIV/AIDS suffer great emotional trouble because people try to avoid them like a plug. They are even denied work or relationship. This actually happened those days. If you're infected with HIV/AIDS, so many people run away from you. People don't want to get close to you. You go in search of job and they discover you have AIDS. They don't want to employ you. Even friends, they want to keep away from you, which means you lose so many relationships. All that kind of those experiences are actually termed stigmatization. But today, because AIDS is basically a blood thing, you can't be related with somebody and get AIDS. It is advised that people avoid stigmatization. Another effect of HIV/AIDS is strain on family members. It causes a lot of stress and trouble for family members. Family members living with AIDS victims sometimes have to leave their work to look after them when they become very sick. If you have a relative that is extremely sick and there is nobody to take care of this person, you leave your job or you leave any gainful activity you are engaged in just to take care of this HIV/AIDS patient. So it usually causes a lot of stress on family members, loved ones, and even friends, because they will have to take extra energy, time, and effort to take care of you when you are terribly sick. Then it's also another effect of HIV/AIDS is financial burden. Once you are sick and you are HIV positive, you have to be taking drugs, antiretroviral drugs, as medical experts would call it, and that will cost a lot of money. It now brings extra financial burden on the victim or members of the family. So family members of AIDS patients spend a lot of money on medical care and proper nutrition for the AIDS victims. Also, families have lost their chief income earners to this disease, leading to poverty. If you are the breadwinner of a family and you contract HIV/AIDS, you contract or you get infected with HIV/AIDS, what happens to you? If you are not strong enough to continue your job, if you lose your job, as the breadwinner, the family will suffer. So it's a very big problem. Another effect of HIV/AIDS is it has rendered so many people orphans. AIDS victims die, leaving behind their children who will automatically become orphans. That is, if you lose your father and mother. These children may have their potentials unrealized if they have no reliable person to cater for them. Like, see these children on the screen, suffering, no food, abject poverty, living in penury. Until they get help, they'll continue to suffer like that and even lose their future ambitions and their life destiny. Then another effect of HIV/AIDS is loss of employment. organizations are deprived of their workers if the workers die early as victims of AIDS. The loss of workers in their old age slow down the development of the economy. So when somebody gets AIDS and the person is a skillful employee in his office and dies untimely due to that AIDS, what happens to that organization? The organization will be at a loss because maybe the person will be almost irreplaceable in his place of work, and that's not nice. So by the grace of God, we've come to the end of this class. Remember to do your assignment, and that is, you should be able to identify and discuss some of the solutions to the problems of HIV/AIDS. Until I come your way next time, I want to bless God for your life. Stay safe. Thank you so much. Remain blessed.